Hey guys, per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only. It is not intended as financial advice. Another week, another bull bear debate. Pulling deep from the Twitter sphere, we got Noah for the Bears, and we've got Napkin for the Bulls. Napkin Man. I didn't actually ask you your name, but that's okay. uh,
Napkin's cool.
Napkin. Okay, yeah. So we'll start with the Bear today. Check Noah and Napkin on Twitter. I posted their uh, links in the description. And we'll start with Noah. So take it away, man.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on, Josh. Big fan for a while. Think you're a net positive for these markets, so appreciate it. All right, guys, look, don't castrate me here. I was chosen as the bear. I'm not necessarily as bearish as I might put off right now, but I'm bringing the fire today, okay? So let me screen share here. Over to Bitcoin. First couple things. Number one, CNBC is long right now in many ways. They have somebody saying Bitcoin's going to 10K. Are Bitcoin shorts waving the white flag? Bitcoin breaking back above 7K today. Bob Iaschino or whatever says 8K could be next. And then they got these old pump looking ascending triangle charts. Look, historically, in this bear trend, if you counter trade CNBC's sentiment, it's a 95% success rate. So, yeah, not good for CNBC. Number two, if we go to Bitfinex chart here, this one's still there. We go. All right, on the daily, there can be a case made here that this is on the 4-hour, but it doesn't matter 4-hour or daily, that this can be a rising wedge. Now, third trend line touches to the upside or the downside are very often false breakouts, and you might have that right here. Rising wedge is a bearish pattern. Now let's go to the 3-day. Let's go to a little higher time frames because everybody always says higher time frame wins. If you look at this red descending resistance line right here, and then this red horizontal support going all the way back to October of 2017, we have ourselves what is called a descending triangle. A descending triangle is obviously a bearish pattern, and you can play ping pong and chop it out and make money long and make money short, but higher time frame says that that is a descending triangle, which is bearish. Moving forward, 3-day moving average, the 20 EMA is below the 50. I like to use a short-term EMA and then a mid-term simple moving average and a long-term simple moving average. Well, the short-term is below the mid-term, and so it's not necessarily perfectly moving average bullish on the 3-day right now. If we go out to, and now we are on this 200 moving average, which is at like 58, 5,900, so it needs to hold that. But right now, you can't call us bull. Also, the 50 is above the 200. So if you forget about the 20, then that's you. That's not me though. On the weekly, 200 moving average is at right around 2,800, 2,775. And then the 20 EMA is below the 50 still. So signaling that we could have a move down to the 200 moving average on the weekly. Not only that, but you have if you take off, like I'll take off these supports here so you guys can see a little bit better. Macro fib wise, from bottom to top of the chart, we are in between the macro 618 and we are above the macro 786. Telling you that a move to the 786, if we break this ascending trend line right here, could be very possible. Other than that, really, guys, the ETF, they don't have to make a decision. We've seen how this market reacts to ETF news, even delays. I mean, it dumped big time last time they delayed it. And now by September 30th, they can make a decision or they can delay it again. We're talking about big government in the United States here, not the most time efficient thing in the entire world. So if it gets delayed again, which I would be expecting, then, you guys know the market gets fearful quick. So that's my Bitcoin bear. Let me go to Ethereum real quick, trying to move it along. All right. On the weekly chart, we have broken the kind of long-term trend line here. Trend lines aren't everything, but we had kind of if you go down to the daily, we had just like a 1, 2, 3, 4 touches. So it was valid. And we broke it. Now, with that, we are below the macro 786 and above the macro 886. Those are prime areas for macro bounces in big market cycles. However, when you're in between both, you can expect a move down to this macro 886, this ice blue $187. And the market typically will respect that level on the first bounce. If not, it'll go down to the 0.93, but we won't get there. Even bigger, fundamentally with ETH right now, there is absolutely zero ICO demand, and ICOs are kind of looked at kind of like a black plague right now. Not only that, but they just announced that the block reward is going to be lowered from 3 ETH to 2 ETH. And it's not going to be as profitable for miners if price doesn't react. Well, this market looks like shit right now. So if price doesn't react to the upside, then miners, I don't know, they might go mine elsewhere. There is trend-based fib support. If I delete this macro, ice blue Fibonacci retracement. If we draw it from the top of the all-time highs to the swing lows to the swing highs afterwards, the next area of support is 0.5 at $211. We might even get a wick down to that magical 200 round number area. And then if we look at the ETH BTC chart to wrap up ETH, this really looks like crap. So okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 trend line touches. Now there is a whole bunch of Fibonacci confluence kind of around. I'm aiming for 0.0365, but you can even get the macro 886 of this market cycle, the most recent one, down around 0.034, 0.035. And as you guys see, Bitcoin is reacting to the upside so much with so much more velocity than ETH is, which tells me that this trend is going to continue. BTC dominance is up and it keeps rising, and I can't see any reason in the near term why Ethereum on a US dollar chart will outperform Bitcoin on a US dollar chart, and that's why the ETH BTC chart looks like crap. Lastly, I was asked to bring one alt to the party, and I hope I'm not taking too much time here. I want to go to XLM.
Everybody's on the XLM train. I like it.
Yeah.
but you're going to argue bearish, so go
Everybody's on the XLM train, and I just don't see it. Like, let me go down to the day real quick.
But Coinbase, man. Coinbase.
Yeah, Coinbase. Well, they said they might add it, or they're looking at it.
No doubt.
Yeah. So we have 3 trend line touches down here if you zoom in, and this can be viewed as a 4th or a 3rd, depending on how you look at this down here. So it's a valid trend line, right? And it's like this big, gigantic, you can call it bullish pennant or symmetrical triangle that the market has been in since last December. Now, if we go out to the weekly, guys, this does not look good, in my opinion. Look, we've broken this trend line. A close on Sunday below this would be a confirmed close on the weekly. And the last thing we're holding on to right here is this horizontal support of what looked like a bullish hammer reversal. Kind of the real body of the bullish hammer was kind of too far in the middle for my liking. However, if you look at the weekly candle that's currently being printed, it's starting to look like a shooting star. If we get any more selling pressure to the downside, then it'll start to definitely look like a shooting star. The 50 moving average on the weekly is at like 2850 sats, somewhere around there. And we're currently at 3161. But below that, when you break a 0.5 macro fib, 0.618 oftentimes is what is next. And we're looking at 2593. So irrespective of whether I was given bull or bear in this debate, XLM to me looks like complete shit. I mean, it did bounce and close back above the 618 in March, but from here we are looking at a minus 17 to 18% to get back down there. So if it doesn't bounce on this 50 moving average, the next spot you might want to look is right around 2593 to 2600 sats. So those are my 3 bear charts. I may or may not be less bearish than I have put on in this presentation or this debate. If you guys want to follow me on Twitter at Noah's Ark Crypto, my screen name is Noah's Ark of Crypto, but there's no of in the handle. On YouTube, Noah's Ark of Crypto. And then on my Twitter page, there's a pinned tweet with my free Telegram on there. You want to get in there for some shitcoin calls and stuff and some education, feel free. That's what I got.
You were sandbagging on me. I had no idea you had a YouTube account.
I do.
Also, I wouldn't draw that XLM pennant like that, but that's okay.
That's fine.
All right. Thank you. That was good. We'll go to Napkin Man. Napkin Man, what do you got for us on the bull case?
All right.
Last week, well, let me just start and say this. Last week we had a bull who was not a bull in his heart, and it showed. So let's bring the heat with the bull side this week.
All right. Well, I'm definitely a bull on at least 2 of these charts, and I have 3.
Okay. Good.
I'll just be honest. But okay, I'm going to start off with Bitcoin. Can you see my chart?
Oh yeah, just push that screen share button.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good. There you go. Yeah.
All right. All right. So this is a Bitcoin daily chart. I took a long-term trend line from here. I feel like this is significant. We had we pulled up, we got rejected off of this. This doesn't really start from you. I mean, this is where it's starting from, but we got rejected off this area here, and we pulled down, but we came back up, broke through it, bounced off of it, and then we went parabolic from there. And then we sort of respected it. We didn't bounce off of it in this level here, but I feel like a lot of that was probably due to front running, on levels that people were looking at previously, which would like coincide with here, So it off of it if people were looking at this level and people front ran it. And then we had, a lot of up and down action in here, like basically price discovery. Now at this point, back, bounced off it again, moved up, broke through the this long-term trend line that medium-term trend line that a lot of people have been looking at. Broke through it, but then this is when the ETF came out, denial came out for the Winklevoss twins, and immediately crypto dumped. But we came back and bounced off it again. We're basically pulling up, rejecting off of it right here. I mean, I think that there's a good case that we could actually just break through it now and end up in this zone. Back to this like 6,500, 6,450 area, and then move up. And then I'm basically looking for the same thing where we'll pull back, bounce again off of this area, and then start moving up. And what I want to see is us to pull up, start ranging in between this area here, maybe even drop down, and for a longer term, move up to break out. I don't think it'll be very bearish for the very long term if we just go parabolic, breakout, and even test or make a new high. I think that it'll be short-lived and we'll end up coming back down. I think it's better to get up in this area, start ranging somewhere between, like 13, 14,000 and 12,000. Very bullish scenario. And I also think that would be the best case for alts as well. And I know everybody but Tony Vase would like to see an alt run. So,
yeah.
All right, let's move on to Ethereum. Oh, why can't I bring up my charts?
I think you just close it.
I have to open my file back up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
All right, this is an ETC weekly or Ethereum weekly. I took my trend line from a different area than Noah started, my long-term trend line. I started it down here where we met here. We met with it, broke parabolic, came back, tested again, broke parabolic. This is like a very significant area right here. We broke out from this area here, and then we've come back, we've tested it, but we're testing it at the same time as this long-term trend line, and we're forming a nice falling wedge right here. And I like to see a lot of things like this when I'm looking for something. Short-term, I'm looking at right here. I have to be honest, long-term, I'm a little bit more bearish, but we'll say that if it breaks out of here, comes up, bounces off that, we can make a nice little run up. So I think even short-term, you can get a nice bull case for this right here. That area would be about $350 to $385 is what I would say. And then I will go right to my favorite coin at this time, which is Ethereum Classic. And hold on. Sorry.
You're an ETH maximalist in the truest sense of the word. Immutability or die, baby.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you're not gonna Well, I won't get into that, but let's look at the ETH 1 day. This is on Bitfinex. I actually trade on Binance, but this is the long term. This is like the life of the chart. All right, so this is like clearly a long term trend line that we've been reaching. I mean, we've been bouncing off of right here, and we bounced off it a bunch of times. I also trade a lot on patterns anyway. Just this whole structure, I feel like it's pretty bullish. It looks kind of weird when you look at it just like from here on, but if you look at it from this way, I mean, we went pretty parabolic, and we've come down and we've tested this, we've ran back up, and now we're sort of just consolidating in this area. And there's just a lot of accumulation. I mean, especially if you zoom in on this, I have a 4-hour chart somewhere on here, but I'm not going to bring it up. But if you zoom in just right on this area, I mean, there's a lot of accumulation, and just area here, it just looks like a lot of accumulation. Take into account that ETC is on Coinbase, it's on Robinhood. These are direct fiat gateways, and I don't really take too much fundamental analysis into account for cryptos, but for something like that, I mean, if you're looking for fundamental analysis, just like having a direct fiat gateway is going to increase your increase the amount of people that'll be able to access the coin, because not very many people are going to open a Coinbase account and then right away just send their money to Binance and start trading. But if they open a Coinbase or a Robinhood account and they're trying to buy crypto, and they have the cheapest option of ETC, or a cheaper option than a $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 Bitcoin, whatever it is, or a $2,000, $3,000 Ethereum, I mean, there's a lot of people are just going to think, oh, Ethereum Classic, it's great. And also, you sort of have the thing like with Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin Cash is sort of stayed in pace with Bitcoin on a 1-to-1 level. But I actually think Ethereum Classic is a better coin than Ethereum, and they're also not overshooting what they're trying to accomplish. Their plan is a lot more simple. And if you want to actually hear some good fundamentals, Epicenter has a good podcast, came out a month and a half or 2 months ago on Ethereum Classic. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but my price target for short-term trades is about 34 to 35,000 Satoshis, and then long-term USD, I'm thinking minimum $150 in the next year, 2 years. So if you're willing to hold on, and one other thing I want to say bull-wise is, from risk to reward scenario, even if you take the very smallest estimates of where Bitcoin could be in the next 2 to 3 years of 25 to 30,000. I mean, you're getting 4 to 1 odds. You don't have to be right that much for that to be extremely profitable. So there's my bullish case.
Awesome. Thanks. I'll just talk about these three real quick. I'll start with ETH. Is my screen? Yeah. Okay. Start with ETH. Everyone's really looking at this pennant, bearish pennant, technically, because it's down move followed by consolidation. We've got the descending volume profile. The measured move and fib extension are super low, so I don't know if this is reality, but we're looking at 150 to 125 most likely if this does break down. We'll see what happens. Upside targets, anything above 322 would see strong upside, I think, back to 380, as you were saying. So I would be watching this triangle, if anything. On Stellar, I wouldn't draw the pennant like that personally. I would more draw it like this. So we're basically at the bottom of the support, or at support right now. I would argue that it is an inverted hammer over a shooting star. Shooting star tends to be at the top of something. This would be the shooting star. This would be the hammer. So we'll see what happens. You can't see it because it's all messed up in the volume, but it also has a descending volume profile, which is what you want to see. Upside on this is $1.09, something like that. And then lastly, just to talk about this rising wedge situation we've got on Bitfinex, Bitcoin. Yes, the volume profile is descending. To be confident that this doesn't exist, I'm confident it doesn't exist anyway, but just to be sure, what you really want to see is a spike in volume here, which we haven't gotten. We are getting some push on volume now that CME is closed. We have Labor Day weekend. Bunch of shenanigans. Shorts closed earlier this week. I think more likely than not they closed because of Labor Day than being at break even or under. I just think a lot of people are weary of holding through multiple days like that. All right, guys, that's all we have for this one. Thanks again for coming on, Napkin and Noah, 2 N's. And we'll see you at a similar time next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Josh.
Yep.
Thanks, Noah.
Thanks, man.
Cool. Thanks, guys.